message her and be like, get on there.
The light's already on, I think. No, those lights aren't in the corner on. I think it's already on. Oh no, there we go. That's on. Yeah.
Can I ask a quick question? My friend said she signed up. She's got a confirmation email, but no link.
When did she sign up?
Literally, like, not long ago. She said she's too late.
Okay, thanks. What's her name?
Lily.
Yeah, she's recorded. What I've done is I forwarded it to her. It should come through. Just tell her to check it.
Okay, thanks so much. Okay, shall I just get started?
You can do, yeah.
I'll just say something to them. Are you coming? Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me this morning for my first live class at Trika Yoga. My mum is watching, which I'm really excited about. So hi, Mum, I'm doing a shout out to you. In this class, we're going to be working on kind of grounding down. I know kind of now's a time of uncertainty, so we're really going to be grounding down into ourselves. So the sequence will be staying close to the floor. So the first half will be the flow, and the second half will be the meditation part. So to start with, without breath, there is no yoga. Without that awareness of drawing within and just kind of focusing on the breath, we can still be busy and lost in the thoughts of the mind. So it's about grounding into the breath to kind of drop us out of the thinking mind into the feeling, into that sensation, so we can move from a place of knowing. And I'm kind of tying into a theme in a way of letting go. And I know a lot of the time in yoga, we say, let go, release. But this is like really letting go. The idea that some things are out of our control, situations. And we don't have a choice about a situation, but we have a choice about how we respond. So we can respond and end up feeling kind of bound and tight and tense, or we can respond in a way that's more welcoming of any negativity and just accepting. So moving from resistance, which creates more kind of stress, to acceptance. So we're going to start down with the breath. So if you'd like to find a comfortable seat, so maybe that's cross-legged, maybe that's kneeling, you can even kind of pull your buttocks out so you sit a little bit more comfortable. And then the hands can go down on the knees or palms facing up. You can even take the hands into the lap. And I invite you just to close your eyes down. And then just feel the breath. And feel the chest lifting on the inhale. And lowering down on the exhale. Lifting up on the inhale. Lowering down on the exhale. So just following that sensation of breath to start with. Noticing where the breath goes. Is it long and steady, or maybe it's a little bit shorter? If you notice any constriction in the throat, can you just release that, let it go? Or any tightness in the chest, just allow it to be free and open a little bit more. And then we'll try to encourage a deeper breath. So on your next inhale, really drawing the breath down into the belly in order to allow the diaphragm to assume its natural action. The belly swells out. And on the exhale, the belly settles down as the breath seeps out through the nostrils. So again, breathing in, diaphragm lowers, lungs expand, belly swells. Exhale, it all settles, it all returns to how it was. Just that constant cycle of in and out, up and down. Just a few more rounds in this way with your own breath. One more round, make it count. Really enjoy that in and out, up and down. And with your next exhale, release the jaw, perhaps moving it slightly side to side, kind of like a micro movement. So if someone was watching you, they wouldn't see. And then start to release the shoulders, allowing them to melt down the back, down towards the sit bones. As you do so, welcome some movement into the neck. So if you can, keep the eyes still closed so you keep that drishti, that focus within. And just start to tilt the head side to side. Just keeping it simple, not trying to overcomplicate. And then begin by tilting the head forwards as the neck circles down and around. And just exploring the sensations in the neck to start with. So maybe you want to keep with these half circles facing forwards. Maybe you tilt the head back a little bit as well, but don't let go too much. Still have some engagement in the neck to protect the cervical spine. So we're not dropping our head back without any protection. Just circling around. Really nice. And bringing that movement down into the shoulders, rolling the shoulders back. And then rounding them back forwards in the opposite direction. Really nice. Maybe rolling one then the other. So it's kind of twists through the spine. This idea of filtering the awareness down from the top of the head, where we were kind of focusing with our mind, moving it down the jaw, the neck, the shoulders, and now working into the spine. So we're really kind of dropping down into the physical sensation of the body. Really nice. Then coming through to a halt, sitting upright, taking a clasp with both hands, and start to press that clasp away. Notice if the shoulders are hunching up to the ears here. Can you lower them down? And then lift the arms up on the inhale. Overhead, shoulders are still down. Exhale, hands down through the center. So inhale, pushing away with the hands. Try and keep the shoulders down. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, hands down through the center. Maybe the eyes stay closed for the practice. Maybe you open up. Inhale, pressing forward. Lifting up overhead. Exhale, just slowly working into the armpits, the spine. One more of these. Inhale to lift up. Exhale down through center. This time we'll inhale our arms out towards the sides, creating length. And the right hand comes to the mat, the left arm up overhead, reaching long. Inhale through center, both arms come to a T. Exhale, the left hand finds the mat. Gaze under opposite armpit. Inhale, sweeps you up. Exhale, you gracefully forward down. And just following a few times in your own breath. Inhale to rise. Exhale to find the extension, the length through the side. Really nice. Next time the right hand finds the mat, hold here. Notice if you're crunching into the side body. So we want to still keep length. So maybe stay on the fingertips and kind of pull over that way to create length from your right hip to right shoulder. Perhaps the pinky finger at the top, hand faces down, roll the shoulder back, look under the armpit. Deep breaths. And inhale through center, arms come to a T. Be conscious of the side body, not crunching in too far. Maybe coming onto the the fingertips of the left hand. Right arm up overhead this time. So we're not crunching down, we're still pulling out of the sit bones, but the right sit bone is rooted down. Providing you with that stability, that foundation, that grounding to the earth. Really nice inhale coming back through the center. And exhale, we'll find our hands on the mat coming through to a tabletop. So generally we take the knees under the hips, the wrists under the shoulders, spread the fingers wide, Hasta Bandha, hand lock. And then really root down through the pointer finger and the thumb. So we have a tendency to roll onto the outer wrist, so really press down. And to start with, just sink all your weight down, no engagement. Then press, protract the shoulder blades. And then find a midway point. So if we sink, we're going to sink our weight into the wrists. If we press too far, we're kind of hunching through the shoulders. So you just want to find that middle point. And then from here, start to wag your tail, just gazing back at either hip. And then we'll start to take the movement in the opposite direction. So down and up, finding our cat-cow. So as we inhale, drop the belly, roll the shoulders back, pull the heart through the collarbones, gaze up. As you exhale, round in, heart comes down in towards the hips. Inhale, pulling the heart through and up. Exhale, rounding in. Inhale to open up. If you're familiar with a wild cat and want to explore it a little bit more, now's your time. You can just stay with this linear movement. If you're unsure of wildcat, it kind of means just kind of moving through the hips a little bit more in the neck. Taking it away from that kind of more creative, a little bit more free, more expressive. Really nice. And then in your own time, coming back through center, so finding that tabletop position. And extend your right leg long and just keep the toes tucked. And we'll just start to pulse a little bit into that back leg. So just finding a nice stretch in the calf muscles. Pushing backwards and forwards. Really nice. And explore the movement in the hip at the same time as the outer edges of the foot. So just taking the foot to the outside, rolling through that hip. And then to the inside, rolling the hip out. So exploring that internal and external rotation of the hip, same time as just kind of massaging the outer edges of the foot. Starting to really extend down. So we've moved from our neck, down our shoulders, down our spine, and now we're taking it down into the hips, all the way into the feet. Full body awareness. Next time you come to the inside of your right foot, take the left leg out to support you. So you open up into Padagastana gate pose. You can stay here still, or perhaps you circle that top arm around. Just working into the shoulder. You can even take the hand behind the head and kind of circle in this way if that feels a little bit better. Open out your heart to the sky. If there's anything else you choose to explore, this is your practice, go for it. You know your body a lot better than I do. So just do what feels good, not what looks good. Then the right hand finds the mat again. You close off that foot. Then bringing the right foot forward. So maybe you need to grab the ankle to help you get there. Hands come down to support that front foot. And as you exhale, straighten the front leg. Finding a half split, half Hanumanasana. As you inhale, pulling forwards, looking forward. Exhale, folding in. Inhale, reaching forward. Trying to keep the spine long here, going with your own breath. Inhale, pulling forwards. You may even choose to close down the eyes a little bit. Kind of center in. Really nice. Next time you pull forwards on the inhale, keep the left hand on the inside of the front foot. And the other arm comes up, so you find a gentle twist. Fingertips reach towards the sky. And just notice you're not lifting up too much with the hip on the leading leg. Kind of drop that hip down. So the twist comes from the kind of lumbar spine and thoracic spine moving up to open the rib space. Maybe even imagining the breath weaving in and out of the ribs. Really nice. As you exhale, that top arm comes down. Tuck the toes of the back leg. Press through the hands, engagement in the shoulders, protect the wrists. Step back into a plank. You can drop the knees here or just hold for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, shift the shoulders over the fingertips and then drop the knees. Lowering down into a modified chaturanga, arms are at 90 degrees. Then allow the belly to come down to the mat. Fingertips under shoulders, press the pubic bone down, top of the feet press down. As you oppose that motion by lifting up with the chest, heart leads, shoulders back, baby cobra. Hover the hands, check that you're using your strength in your back rather than forcing yourself up too high. And exhale, lowering down, taking it back into your tabletop. Getting ready for the other side, so maybe wagging through your tail once more. Checking you're not dipping down too far, encouraging a hypolordose of curve of the spine. Really just find a kind of midway point so the belly's still drawing in to support the lower back, the lumbar spine. And then we'll go here by taking our left leg back this time. Just pulsing into that leg. Toes are tucked on the mat. Feel that connection. Kind of working into the calf muscle. Deep breaths, really nice. And then working to the outer edges of the foot. So rolling on the outside. Really taking it into the hip, really nice. The next time your foot rolls onto the inside, taking the other leg out to support you as you lift up into your Parigasana or gate pose. Again, the same options stay here. Perhaps you circle with that top arm, gets you more into the shoulder, maybe the hand comes to the neck as you roll that shoulder back, winging your heart up to the sky. Maybe you find stillness and strength in the stillness. Exhale, that left hand comes down to the mat. And then bringing the left leg forwards, perhaps use the hand to support you as you step forwards. Both hands frame that front foot. Inhale to gaze forwards, pull the heart through. Exhale, same as before, you know where you're going, straighten that leg. Inhale to pull through. Exhale, maybe the hands even creep back here. Inhale. Exhale. Trying to keep long in the spine when you straighten that front leg. So rather than rounding through, trying to keep up high, long. Thinking that length, just like at the beginning where we didn't crunch into our side body, trying not to crunch into the spine too much here. Creating space between the discs, between the vertebrae. Inhale, coming forwards. This time the right hand roots down. The left arm lifts up. Remember that left hip isn't lifting, root down, both hips are aligned. Really reaching through the fingertips and grounding through that right hand. So again, those opposing forces, that kind of rooting, but also uplift. So you get a kind of nice balance between being weighty and grounded and kind of airy and weightless almost. Free. Exhale, that left hand comes back down towards the mat. Tuck the back toes, lift that back leg. Really root down through the hands as you bring that left leg back, holding here in our plank. So you can drop the knees to modify to start with, but we'll hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2. Inhale, shift the shoulders over fingertips. Exhale, drop the knees. Untuck the toes, lowering down through modified chaturanga. Fingertips beneath shoulders. Inhale to lift up. Shoulders down towards hips. Press into the top of the feet. Float the hands. And exhale, lowering down. Tuck the toes. This time, transition through your tabletop. And then remembering that sensation of pushing the earth away rather than sinking into the shoulders as we lift into downward facing dog. Really starting to walk through the feet, bending into the knees. Doing whatever feels good here, just exploring. If you'd like to stay still, that is also welcome. Really nice. Then coming into a static downward facing dog. As you inhale, lift the heels, ripple through the spine, come into plank. As you exhale, send the hips back, come into downward facing dog. So just exploring this a few times. Coming forwards on the inhale, you can drop the knees if you choose and do a cat-cow instead. Exhale back. Inhale to come forwards. Exhale to downward facing dog. If you lowered the knees to cat-cow, come back to downward facing dog. Then we'll start to take our hands towards the back of the mat. Bend the knees as much as you need to do so to get there. And your hands might not reach the mat like mine. If you're finding any pain in your lower back at the spine, bend the knees as deeply as you can so your belly and your ribs connect to your legs. You can grab opposite elbow and find a ragdoll this way. Maybe you take the hands behind the neck and kind of drag the neck down. By drag, I don't mean pulling, just allow gravity to create that length. Allow the breath to be long and deep here. Feeling the rooting through the feet, really nice. It's as if the kind of crown of the head is almost pouring out of the spine, out from the hips, down towards the earth. Can you release the jaw, just like we did at the beginning? Perhaps micro movements to release those muscles. Really relax the weight of the shoulders. You often hear that expression, we hold the weight, we carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. Can you just let that go now? Somatically, emotionally, just let go. And physically, release. On your next exhale, allow the hands to release down if you've taken the bind. We're going to stand up, so spread the toes wide first, root them down, pada bandha, foot lock. And then bend into the knees deeply as you ripple up through your spine. Slow and steady, no rush to get there. Just taking it at your own time. When you reach the top, perhaps stretching the arms up overhead. Right hand grabs left wrist as you pull over towards the right, taking a juicy side stretch. Just like we did at the beginning, sitting down, finding that side stretch. Do you notice a little bit more room in the body now as you've warmed up? Inhale through center. Left hand takes right wrist as we pull over towards the left. Trying to kind of lift up towards the sky so we're not crunching too far into that side body. One more of these. Inhale through center. Exhale, right hand on left wrist. Kind of lifting up and over towards the right. Inhale through center. Left hand on right wrist. Inhale to lift and find length through the lateral side of the body. Really nice, guys. Inhale through center, both arms reach up. Exhale, hands down through heart center, Anjali Mudra Para. Inhale, release the arms down by the side, sweep out and up overhead. Gaze follows the fingertips. Exhale, down through the midline. Two more of these. Inhale to lift up. Perhaps you create a slight back bend as you rise. Exhale down through the midline. One more of these. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to soften the knees, bend forward, ripple down. Hands find the mat, maybe the shins as you inhale to flat back. Hands slide up towards the knees. Exhale, lower down, bending in the knees. Inhale, lifting up, sliding the hands up towards the knees, long spine. Exhale. Last one of these. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, hands root down to the mat. Coming forwards into your downward facing dog. Not worrying if you find that transition difficult, just getting there in any way that feels good for your body today. Then inhale to ripple through the spine, come to plank. Exhale, drop the knees, untuck the toes. Lowering down into modified chaturanga, hold here. Before coming down onto your belly. Take the fingertips in line with the shoulders, but a little bit wide at this time. Roll the shoulders back. Then inhale, lift up, press through the pubic bone. Exhale, drop the right shoulder towards the mat. Inhale through center. Exhale, drop the left shoulder looking over right. You might hear some cracks. My back just cracked. It felt lovely. Inhale through center. Exhale, twisting. Inhale through center. Exhale. Inhale through the center. Exhale. Inhale through center, last one. Exhale, dipping the left shoulder. Inhale, coming up through the center. Maybe you hover the arms out towards the sides or back behind you. Really pressing into the tops of the feet. Release the glutes. So by tensing the glutes, it's connected to the lower back and we can find some strain. So release the glutes a bit, but engage the front of the legs, the front line of the body. Really nice. Just 2 more counts. 1 more. And hands come forwards to create a pillow for the head as you lower down. Just resting here a second with the breath. Perhaps wiggle the hips slightly. Then we'll start to turn over to come onto our backs. So inhale, maybe you start to lift up, and exhale, starting to turn over. Still allowing the breath to kind of lead, not forcing yourself anywhere too quickly. And we'll come to lie on our backs with our knees bent to start with. Just take both hands to the belly and just settle. Just noticing how it feels to lie on your back. And then take your arms out to a T, as if your wings are extending, spreading wide. Lowering the knees over towards the right-hand side to find a supine twist. So you may want to shift the hips to the left first and drop the knees to the right. So trying to get the left hip directly on top of the right. And it's not necessary that the left shoulder finds the mat. If it's a little bit uncomfortable with the arms extended, you can always try and bend that elbow to kind of release that kind of dragging down of the shoulder. It's a little bit tight today. Really enjoying this kind of twisting through the spine, this detoxifying pose. Almost like we're wringing out the emotions to kind of find a little bit more balance, kind of cleansing ourselves, releasing. Then inhale to Roll back down through the midline, the center. Coming to lie with your knees bent. First, tune in with how the spine feels. Maybe you need to wiggle the hips a little bit. Maybe even tucking up the hips towards the sky and just kind of finding balance before we shift the hips to the right so the knees can fall to the left this time. Stacked upon one another, the right hip on top of the left. So it's just the exact same pose on the other side. Don't worry too much if right and left confuses you. Just make sure you're balancing out both sides of the body. Hips upon one another, knees upon one another. Arms out to a T. You can even bend into the elbow of the right arm. Just notice how this changes the sensation, the feeling for you. Really nice, just grounding down. And you now start to rock up back through center. Knees are still bent. We'll just take a short shavasana, so extending the legs long, allowing the feet to hang heavy out towards the sides. You can keep the arms as they are, or maybe they come down by your sides, palms facing up. And just allow your breath to settle here. Doing a gentle body scan from the right top of the head down to the right shoulder, the right elbow, the right hand, the right waist, the right hip, the right knee, the right ankle, and the right foot. Breathing into the whole right side of the body and notice how that feels. Almost illuminating it with your breath. And then bringing that attention to the left side, so the top of the left head, the left shoulder, the left elbow, the left hand, the left waist, the left hip, the left upper leg, the left knee, left ankle, the left foot. Just focusing fully on the whole of the left side of the body. And doing a scan of the entire body from the crown of the head down to the fingers and the toes. Just noticing anything, any sensation that comes up. Perhaps warmth, perhaps tingling, perhaps even tension or tightness. Just starting to shift towards that mindset of just letting it be there. Not resisting it, just allowing it to be exactly as it is. As you lie on your back. Maybe if those areas that are feeling a little bit tight, you can send a bit more breath. Just to send a little bit more nourishment. Or light. There's a poem that goes, whatever's touched by the light becomes the light. Maybe just taking a bit of light to those areas of tension and resistance. Be felt. Just a little while longer here. And taking 3 deep breaths. Still where you are, lying on your back. Just the next few breaths, really welcome them deeper into the body, into the lower lobes of the lungs and the belly. And starting to slowly think about bringing the knees in towards your chest. Kind of welcoming the knees by wrapping the arms around the backs of the legs. And just gently rocking yourself side to side, massaging the lower back, the lumbar spine, the deep muscles here. Really nice, just rocking slowly, gently, letting the breath be the guide. There's no rush, no place to be. And slowly tilting over onto whichever side comes to you naturally. So perhaps over to the left, to the right, taking it into a embryo pose. So just kind of curled up in a ball on your side. Maybe the lower hand wraps up around the waist. We'll start to rise into a seat so we can find our meditation position. But if you'd like to remain lying on the back, then feel free to turn back and lie back down. If you'd like to join us seated, then start to allow the hands to press you up. Can you keep the eyes closed as you do this? And coming to a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you. So maybe cross-legged, maybe kneeling. And we'll be coming into our meditation practice together. We've got about 20 minutes and we won't be sitting still that whole time, don't worry. There'll be the opportunity to do that, but if you'd like to shift and shuffle at different times, then I'll welcome that and let you know when's a good time. But if you're completely new to meditation, then just know that there is no right way. And if you feel like you're not meditating because the mind's wandering, it's kind of, that's part of the journey, and that kind of is meditating. So don't worry too much. So we'll find a seat. So you should be in a comfortable seat now, or as comfortable as you can be. And again, the hands can kind of rest down on the knees or the palms can face up. If you prefer, you can take the hands into the lap, find Dhyana Mudra. So the right hand on top of the left and the thumbs come to connect. And that's kind of like your meter for attention. So if the thumbs start to kind of drift apart, you know you're losing your concentration. So sometimes it's really nice to keep the thumbs there, and that's your focal point, your anchor into the moment in a way. This is quite how I like to practice, but you may like it in a different way. And notice if you're kind of hunching forwards, often when we sit down, we kind of round in. Can you allow the crown of the head to reach up to create space in the spine and roll the shoulders back and down? And start to soften the eyes as they settle and the focus goes inwards. Almost looking down towards the heart space. So that center of your chest, not the physical heart, but the center of the chest. Bring your focus here to the center of the chest. And notice how it feels to breathe into this space. Perhaps you imagine the breath circling around, or perhaps you visualize a globe of light, maybe the color green. Don't worry if you're finding it hard to settle the mind. If the mind is a bit overactive, just tilt the chin down so the head is kind of bowing down towards the heart space. Just to ground a little bit more. And it really is just as simple as going back to basics, going back to breathing, something you do each and every single day. Even now I feel my shoulders are tense, so on your next exhale, can you just soften them a bit more? Let them kind of melt down the back. Relax the jaw. Just really physically focusing on the heart space. And imagining that you are sitting in a meadow. Soft beneath your hips. You can feel the blades of grass kind of dancing around, tickling your legs a little bit, being playful. Not too serious, just having fun in the soft breeze. And the sun starts to peep through the clouds and you feel that warmth upon your face. Dapples of sunlight, golden, sweeping across the face, your shoulders. And the breeze kind of sweeps up the hair and lifts it up. Kind of revealing more of your face to be covered in light by the sun. And you're just sitting here at this meadow listening to the trickle of the stream that's in front of you. Perhaps smelling a distant fragrance of a flower. It's a floral scent, delicate on the senses. You can smell that soft smell. What flower is it that you can smell? Is it sweet? Almost sickly in its sweetness? Or is the smell a little subtle? just start to visualize that flower that you can smell. How might it look? If you're finding it hard to conjure up or imagine a smell, perhaps just visualizing your favorite flower. And you just see one nearby in that meadow, just shooting up, peeping through the grass. Kind of time stops still as you appreciate the beauty of this. Something so small and simple, but so breathtaking. And you start to focus on the sound of the river or the stream just trickling not too far away from you. And you start to stand up and slowly, without a rush, with nowhere to be, just taking each footstep as it comes, you start to walk towards the sound of the stream. And feel the soft grass beneath your bare feet, kind of spongy and warm. When you reach the stream, you decide to take a little perch by the edge and just watch. Watching the water trickle by. Almost twinkling in the sunlight. Creating a pattern in the water. Something that looks solid, but it's actually quite fluid, constantly moving, changing. And you see a pebble next to the stream and you pick it up. You feel its softness, its smooth edges, how cool and weighty it feels in your hand. How grounded and calm it feels. You just toss that stone into the stream and watch as it's carried down to the bed of the stream. Slowly as it kind of filters down through the water and roots down to the bottom of the bed. And although the water is moving around it, constantly changing, this force passing by, the pebble is grounded, it's rooted, remains still, sure, comfortable in itself down there. Just feeling those qualities of that pebble on the bottom of the stream. Almost imagining yourself like that pebble, sure of yourself. Within the movement of the water, the changing environment. How does it feel to to accept being there. At the bottom of the stream. Just exactly there. Rooted. If the stream of thoughts tried to sweep you up and move you, just remember that you are that pebble grounded, nestled in, strong. How does it feel? Without trying to change it in any way. Just watching as the water dances around you, yet you're still there. You're still centered, rooted, still supported by the foundation of the riverbed. Just practicing in this way with this visualization each time the thoughts try to meander you down the little story of the stream. You just come back to being that pebble. Unmovable. Completely settled in the riverbed. Completely anchored to this very moment. Each time the stream mischievously tries to drag your attention away, the breath can be the way to root back into that quality of centeredness, being settled, grounded. The thoughts may still be there in the stream, but you just don't need to pay them too much attention. Just come back to the breath, to grounding. Just a little while longer, really nice, you've got this. Deep breaths each time the mind wanders down the stream. Just gently, not forcefully. Just gently welcome it back. Using the breath to anchor you to this moment. Keep you grounded in the current. Really nice. Each time the mind wanders, it's an opportunity to learn how to meditate. It's actually part of the process. You could argue that it is the meditation itself, that act of drawing back to now. So not worrying too much. Just bringing it back to the breath, back to basics. Really nice. Almost there. And then starting to visualize your body, wherever you are, wherever you're seated. And feel the foundation of that which supports you, maybe the floor, maybe a chair, a cushion. And keeping the eyes closed, start to wiggle into the fingers, that physical part of the body. And bring your hands to the legs and down the legs. Eyes are still closed. See if you can kind of do this with care, being a bit slow. And starting to brush up and down the arms. Really awakening the arms back to this room, to where you are. And rubbing either side of the neck. Maybe giving yourself a little bit of a neck massage, a bit of a squeeze. Taking the hands onto the head and just a gentle head massage. And sweeping both arms up overhead. On the inhale, reach long through the fingertips. Just like we did in the class, exhale the hands down through center, down into prayer, Anjali Mudra. The thumbs can press into the heart space and really feel that feedback response. So trying to apply a bit of pressure so you can really feel that connection between heart and hand. Relax the shoulders, relax the jaw. Belly is free to swell. It could be something as simple as grateful for this practice. It could be grateful for someone who's shown you kindness, or the opportunity to connect with others and show them kindness right now, to help them. Choose one thing that brings light into your life. And just remember that whatever is touched by the light becomes the light. So can you welcome more light into your life with gratitudes? Recognizing what you do have, how you can encourage more of that. Thank you for joining me today, guys. Hope you have a wonderful day. The sun is shining here. And bowing down to yourself in gratitude for your body, for what it can do today. And for your mind, even if it was racing. It's just part of the process. I hope you enjoyed today's practice. And have a lovely day. And hopefully see you all on here soon. Thank you for joining. See you. The camera's just being turned off.